Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. After more than 500 years of waiting, Spanish Muslims have finally succeeded in building their mosque in the shadow of the Alhambra, one of the symbols of Islamic power in Europe's past. The opening was planned to be carried out by representatives of Spanish Muslims, and broadcast live on Al Jazeera television. Muezzin will climb the minaret of the Grand Mosque of Granada and make the call to prayer for the first time in 5 centuries. According to the builder, this mosque is a symbol of the revival of Islam in Europe and Spain, a place where there is a legacy of Islamic glory. However, secretly, many Spanish citizens were not happy. Many people are against it, but they know it is politically impossible to voice their opinion, said a local journalist. It has been more than 500 years since the native Spanish people were reconquered in the southern region of the country, ending almost 8 centuries of rule by the Moors. As the Muslim peoples from the Middle East are known. Ignoring their promise to be tolerant of the Muslim faith, the Spanish participated in a wave of coercion, expulsion, and murder. Mosques were destroyed, and churches were often built in the same locations. Memories of the bloody times and wars that ravaged Andalusia for hundreds of years are still alive in the minds of most Christians. Even today, in the hills around Granada, they still use the old baptismal prayer. "This is your child, you give me a Moor, I will return him a Christian." And history lives on in the memories of Muslims. The longing to return to Islam as expected by the Andalus province, is often the theme of Islamic poetry. Although the majority of Spaniards, opposed to the project, have dwindled in recent years, it took 22 years for Granada's city government to get permission to build the first mosque for native Spanish Muslims, rather than immigrants since the Reconquest. This mosque will be a place of worship for 500 Muslims, mostly Spanish residents who have converted to Islam. According to Abdul, Spain was the majority Muslim before the Moors arrived. The wars have taken over with the Quran rather than murder. This mosque is to show that Spanish Muslims are not something strange. "We will not reconquer this country, we just want to say that we, like other Spaniards, are just like you," said Abdul. In 711 AD, Tariq ben Zayed, an Islamic hero who was also a former assistant to Musa bin Nusayr, led 12,000 Muslim troops across the strait between Africa and mainland Europe. Tariq, famous for burning his ships on the coast of Andalusia, Spain, to fight against the Christian army, finally succeeded in conquering Andalusia and Granada. Unfortunately, in 1085, this symbol of Islamic glory fell to Christian forces when King al-Qadir ad-Zunniyah surrendered to King Leon Alfonso VII. Following this, Mustansir al-Muda surrendered to Ramiro II of Aragon. The largest kingdom of Córdoba, in Andalusia, fell in 1236, and the second largest kingdom of Seville was destroyed and conquered in 1248. The collapse of Córdoba was mourned not only by Muslims but also by Christian writer Stanley Lane Poole, who admitted in his book, The Mohammedan Dynasties, how backward and deluded civilization was after the collapse of the Islamic kingdom of Córdoba. In the Andalusia region of southern Spain, stands a magnificent mosque, called the Grand Mosque of Granada. This mosque is unique because almost every Friday, non-Muslims visit to convert to Islam. According to reports by Anadolu and Euronews, the phenomenon of Spaniards becoming interested in converting to Islam has occurred in recent years. Their goal in pledging to convert to Islam by reciting the creed was at the mosque. Almost every Friday, Spaniards convert to Islam in Granada. There has been a serious increase in the number of Spaniards converting to Islam, especially after the pandemic. "This is a situation that makes us happy and proud," said the president of the Association of Islamic Societies of Spain, and the Grand Mosque of Granada Foundation, Umar del Pou. Around 36,000 Muslims live in the city and district of Granada, about 3,700 of them are Spaniards, who converted to Islam, and their third-generation children, continued del Pou. Spanish Islamic Commission Secretary Mohammed Ajana told Anadolu that the Muslim population living in Spain has increased tenfold in the last 30 years, exceeding 2.5 million. According to him, the figure is an official record, and according to unofficial figures, around 3 million Muslims are living in Spain. In Spain, There are Muslim communities from Morocco, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Senegal, and Algeria, who live in industrial areas such as Catalonia, Valencia, Andalusia, and Madrid. The European continent also has religious tourist attractions. One of them is in Spain, specifically in the form of the Grand Mosque of Granada. The real name of the mosque is the Mezquita Mayor de Granada, located in the city of Granada, Andalusia province, southern Spain. This mosque was inaugurated in 2003. Muslims in Granada happily welcomed the opening of this mosque because it was the first grand mosque in their area after 500 years. Hundreds of years ago, the Spanish colonialists came to our area and burned down the descendants of Muslims. Now, the Great Mosque has been built, meaning we have to bury this heartbreaking history, together to look to a brighter future, said one Muslim resident of Granada, who was present at the inauguration, as quoted from the Telegraph. Because of this long history, the inauguration of the Granada Mosque was widely reported by world news agencies. Granada is one of the centers for the spread of Islam in Europe. Hundreds of residents there are devout Muslims, attending every Friday prayer, and throughout the month of Ramadan. This mosque, with Spanish-Arabic architecture, is always busy with worshippers. 3 parts can be visited: the garden, prayer room, and Islamic study center. Apart from those intending to worship, many tourists also come to learn about the history and architecture of this mosque. Indeed, it is beautiful, facing directly the Alhambra Valley, the Darro River, and Mount Saa, which is the perfect composition for gazing at the sunset. Mosque Secretary General Zacarias Lopez said the construction of the Granada Mosque began 30 years ago, coinciding with the time when his father converted to Islam. We encountered various difficulties during the construction of the mosque. The process took a long time due to financial and political problems. In 2003, the mosque was finally inaugurated, said Lopez, as quoted by Anadolu. Lopez continued to say that every month of Ramadan, there are activities to break the fast together, recitation of the Quran, and Tarawih prayers, which are held. The menu for breaking the fast at this mosque is milk, dates, and Moroccan harira soup. Milk and dates are eaten at breaking the fast, while Moroccan harira soup is served after Tarawih prayers. Lopez added that until now, the Granada Mosque still opens its doors to those who want to donate funds for the maintenance of the building. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe for a daily dose of real stories.